Right, one down, a shit more to go.
It's going to take a while, isn't it?
Yep. Oh, by the way, did you get that thing?
Yes, here it is. Ugh.
Huh, good. Yeah. Now I'm just wondering how Chris is holding up.
Hello and welcome back, and before I start the review, some of you might be wondering, how did I manage to upload last time's video if I'm stuck in this room? Simple, like this. Thankfully I also have a bunch of spare shirts in this room for some reason. And as for the toilet situation, I think this clip will pretty much sum it up.
This is a bucket.
Anyway, with that out of the way, it's time to start the second part of my second DMC-a-thon with a rather infamous game in the form of DMC Devil May Cry. A game that's well known for its controversial redesigns and cringeworthy dialogue.
What in the shitting hell is going on here?
So let's go!
Not in a million years.
The story starts out with the Demon Lord Mundus, who instead of being a giant statue like in the original Devil May Cry, in this reboot, he's taken the form of a businessman who has taken over the world through the usual evil corporate means.
I will control the world through debt.
Anyway, Mundus is also trying to track down the son of Sparta. And it turns out the son of Sparta is Dante. Actually no, let's not call him Dante. This mid-2010s Justin Bieber look-alike obnoxious asshole doesn't deserve to be referred to as Dante. So henceforth, I shall refer to him as Dinte. Dinte is attacked by a demon sent by Mundus, and after a lot of chasing, fighting and a cutscene involving Pizza Dick, he takes down the demon and meets up with a person by the name of Cat, who reveals to him that the demon dragged him into Limbo, which is a sort of pocket dimension where all the demons hide out of the sight of humanity, that the person that wanted him killed was Mundus, and that she works for a group of rebels trying to fight against Mundus called the Order. Dinte decides to go along with the Order's plan and meets up at their headquarters with their leader Virgil for vendetta over here. But before they can start their fight against Mundus, Virgil sends Dinte back to his old childhood home to try and remember his backstory. Dinte finds out that he is a son of an angel and demon, that the demon just so happened to be Sparta, one of Mundus's generals, that Mundus killed Dinte's mother and imprisoned Sparta, and that Virgil is Dinte's twin brother! Which people who played the original games, or at least have a passing knowledge, would have already known. With all that out of the way, it's time to take down Mundus's means of control. Target number 1 is a soft drinks factory that Mundus is using the drinks to keep the people under control. Dinte travels into Limbo, and after having a swear word shouting match against a succubus,
Fuck you!
he kills the succubus, and in doing so cuts off the drink supply. Target number 2 is a news station run by a demon who's taken the form of a news anchor called Bob Borvis. And whilst Dinte does take down Bob, who takes the form of a translucent holographic head for some reason, he finds out that Mundus and his SWAT team have discovered the Order's base. While Dinte does arrive in time to retrieve the Order's vital information, Cat gets captured by Mundus in the process. Fortunately, Dinte and Virgil come up with a plan to save Cat, involving kidnapping a demon named Lilith, who is carrying Mundus's child. Dinte defeats and captures Lilith after a weird boss fight where a giant mutated baby bursts out the back of their head and she dangles from it like an umbilical cord and yeesh. Dinte and Virgil manage to arrange a hostage exchange with Mundus, where they'll trade Lilith for Cat. However, halfway through the exchange, Virgil decides to shoot Lilith through the stomach, killing her and her unborn child. Mundus goes absolutely apeshit and destroys a large portion of the city, but Dinte, Virgil and Cat manage to escape. At last it's time to take down Mundus himself, so Dinte heads up the tower and confronts Mundus, who takes the form of a giant blobby rubble monster. And after killing Mundus, Limbo and the real world are merged, and people are now aware of the existence of demons. Everything seems to be wrapping up nicely until Virgil turns around and reveals that now with Mundus dead, he plans to take over the world himself. Then Dinte and Virgil have their expected Dante and Virgil fight. Dinte almost kills Virgil, but Cat persuades him not to. Dinte and Cat head off to a sequel that will never be made, while Virgil staggers away to appear in his own DLC. The gameplay is probably the high point of this whole experience. It is a pretty good hack and slash, with one of the major mechanics being switching to angel or demon weapons by holding down the L2 or R2 buttons respectively. Both the angel and demon weapons also have their own grapple abilities that either pull you towards your enemies or pull your enemies towards you. These two abilities are also frequently used during the platforming segments of this game, which are actually not that bad compared to some of the platforming in some of the previous Devil May Cry games. Now, in the original release of this game, the specific colour-coded enemies could only be damaged by the right coloured weapon. However, in this re-release, it's been changed so that they take damage from any weapon, but they take more damage from using the correct weapon. Now, some Devil May Cry veterans may be unhappy with the game's lack of difficulty compared to some of its predecessors. And, well, there's a reason for that. You see, our old friends at Capcom weren't happy that DMC4 didn't perform as well as they would have wanted it to. Rather than realising that maybe the reason it didn't sell as they would have wanted is because of its rushed development. Nope, they came to the conclusion that clearly the franchise needed to be rebooted and to cater to a more casual Western audience. You know, the usual sort of decision out-of-touch corporate executives make, thinking it's a big brain move, when really every time this sort of idea has been tried, it has practically never worked. But hey, who needs common sense and long-term memory when you're focused on making money? Whilst the graphics themselves are pretty good, the art direction, especially that of the characters, is, let's just say, an acquired taste. Similar can be said about the music, that while I personally thought was alright, I could definitely see how it could get on some people's nerves. You know, the sad thing is, at its core this game is generally fun and entertaining, but like DMC4, it feels held back. Although in this game's case it's due to its controversial character design, bland and boring story, unappealing and annoying characters, as well as a core concept that was essentially doomed from the start. But hey, if you're not pissed off by this game's mere existence, and I say giving it a go wouldn't hurt. Well, that's all from me. Tune in next time for the final part of my second DMC-a-thon. Shut up. let's get into the second part of my second DMC tour-a-thon.
Do you mean DMC-a-thon?
Anyway, with that out of the way, I meets up at their base with their leader, Virgil from Vendetta over here.
Oh, what's that bad noise?